Remain standing as we look to God for prayer. Indeed, if we build without the Lord, then we labor in vain. So let's better get ourselves in reverence and prayer. Almighty Father, we thank you, Almighty God, for this occasion. We thank you, God, for your people. We thank you, mighty God, for vision and for wisdom. Indeed, your word says that without vision, your people perish. And so, Lord, we thank you for the vision of the organizers and community and people can come together. You said, Lord, that if we have more wisdom, we should ask for it. And so we ask you today for wisdom in every decision, wisdom on our leaders, wisdom about society, Lord. May this meeting be productive. May the words that we speak, God, be that which you want to. And at the end of the day, Lord, there'll be better communities and better people because you have been a part of it. Thank you, God, for the patience. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for all that will be in this meeting. And that when we leave here, we'll be more knowledgeable, we'll be more equipped, we'll be more strengthened to ensure that this world, this Jamaica like we love, is a place, mighty God, that your hands are stretched forth. We ask these in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. You may be seated. I invite His Worship, the Mayor, to join at the head table. Brothers and sisters, we're gathered here this afternoon to have a conversation. We're gathered here this afternoon to talk. We're gathered here this afternoon to build. And so we want to welcome you all to this town meeting or meeting. You know, the book of Proverbs 18, verse 13 is appropriate. It said to answer before lips clean, that is a folly and a shame. And so the scripture is particularly very appropriate for us today because this is a time to listen. Today is not simply a meeting, it's an opportunity for dialogue. It's a space where people can talk, can speak, where questions can be asked, where information can be shared, and where we can seek clarity about the impact of Hurricane Melissa, the relief, the recovery efforts, and other things that impact our parish. There's a great value, in bringing people together. When we listen to one another, we gain experience, we gain clarity. When we have honest conversation, we create an opportunity for accountability and for meaningful action. And so as we begin today, I want us to remember that our community becomes stronger when the people have the courage to speak, when they have the humility to listen, and the wisdom to seek the truth to be gathered. And so as we welcome our speakers and as we welcome you, I want you to keep in mind that today is a conversation. It's a dialogue. And so feel free, because when we build or when we do anything without a people, then the truth is that we build in vain. So your voice matters this afternoon. We don't want you to be silent. We want you to speak honestly and truthfully. We want you to listen. We want you to be bearers of that which is happening. And so that some of the community, the questions in our communities, there be some clarifications. Indeed, we are the vanguards of our society and our communities. And so today I want you to listen so that when we take the message back home, others will be able to understand more clearly. And when they speak with wisdom. So it's good to be here. Just look at the person beside you and just tell them it's good to be here. Amen. Amen. Yes, it's good to be here. And we are very, very, very honored to have some very honorable persons and persons here this afternoon. And I just want us to join us in welcoming the persons at the table. I'll go from my immediate right. I'd like to welcome the mayor of the town of Lucy and the councillor for the other region. We'd like to welcome our member of parliament for Western Hanover, MP Heather Miller. We welcome our member of parliament for Eastern Hanover, MP Andrea Curry. We'd like to welcome our member of parliament for the Central St. Catherine, North Central St. Catherine, Natalie Henry, and our party chairman, Dr. Angela Brown. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome party leader and opposition leader. I'd also like to welcome the councillors of the Hanover municipality from Eastern Hanover, from the Chester Catherine division, Councillor Winter McIntyre. From the Hanover division, Councillor Free. From the Side division, Councillor Darren Barnes. From the East division, Councillor Brian Chambers. And I welcome you all, everybody who is here. And the leaders who sit around here and the leaders that I might have missed. No, we welcome you all. And so to start today's conversation, we're going to start from the west. We're going to go to the west. And I'd like to welcome from Western Hanover. I'm going to go to the west, of course. And I'd like to welcome our first citizen of the town of Lucy, Councillor Sheridan Sanders, Mayor Sheridan Sanders. Really give him a round of applause.
You want to party leader. Mark Odin, our chairman of the People's Best Party, Dr. Our spokesperson on local government, Natalie Nita Garvey, FP West Eastern MP Purpose, Angela Purpose, MP Western, MP Edna Miller Bennett. I'm pretty sure that I use the Bennett on it. And of course, our good councillors who are here with us today, Councillor Chambers, Barnes, Free, and McIntosh. I should have mentioned our chairperson or moderator today, but of course I'm doing it now. And also to all the citizens that come out to really listen to the message that we have today and to tell you exactly what is happening within the parish itself. I want to thank you for coming out here. Media, well wishers, each and every one. I want to extend a warm greetings from the Hanover Municipal Corporation. We are here today because Hanover needs real answers, fair treatment, and respectful attention from our leaders of government. I know it's unfortunate being left behind and treated unfairly. We highlighted this at our press conference in Kingston just the other day, where we met with other mayors and, minority leaders from different municipalities. Of course, it was highlighted in that press conference that Hanover, unlike KSMC and other municipalities, for example, KSMC receiving an allocation of $85 million per month. Because what we met in Kingston was to let you understand from some utterances that came from the minister who spoke about how much millions and billions of dollars reaching the municipal corporations. Well, I want you to know today that Hanover received the least amount of allocations, unlike other municipalities. While the ICE, KCMC received $85 million per month, while Hanover received only $13 million per month. I want you to look at the disparity behind that. How can we ever get the opportunity to fix road? Well, let me tell you something. You see, since that meeting in Kingston, that press conference, I have seen two allocations coming from the ministry. And the two allocations that came is speaking to $15 million. So of course, we were being victimized, we were being sabotaged in Hanover because it could have been better. It could have been better. I'm really happy. Even though we are receiving that, this is inadequate to do the amount of road repairs that the minister spoke about. Because basically, when we actually do the maths, because there's an SGR that actually comes out of the funding itself, which is 20%. And when the SGR came out, there's an administrative cost that actually comes from that money also. We are only left at the municipality with about $9 million to share between 7 councillors to do pushing and drain cleaning and road repairs. How can that help? The question I should ask, what can go so? Another thing, we have gone through hurricane medicine. We have seen what took place within the parish itself. We have seen where the Ministry of Labor and Social Security actually play abstract around the people of Hanover. I just want to point out to you that there was a roof program that is one of the program from the government through the ministry. And this roof program itself, the parishes that were affected were St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Chillingham, the 5 parishes that were affected. And the only parish that didn't get a chance are our citizens, our people that were suffering, don't get a penny from the roof program. Every other parish, the St. Elizabeth, the Westmoreland, the Trelawney, all those parishes got the roof program going. In terms of garbage collections, I know that I saw you shaking your head. It is really, really serious within this parish. I have to be going on my phone every single day, trying to call. They have a program of work that's set out every morning. And I can tell you that at the end of the day, probably not 1% of these areas that are mentioned are clean. How can we as a parish be treated this way? How they expect us to live? Water, water. It is really, really serious with the crisis that we are facing now in terms of water. There are communities in eastern and western Hanover that is seriously affected by this drought that we are having. And what the government is doing, laying some pipeline in western to go to the grid. We are asking the question, is it that these lines will go into the interior, the rural part of the parish? We still can't get those answers. But we are expecting to hear something from government because the crisis is very, very, very serious. And I am saying to you today that if the government don't come and treat us the way we're supposed to be treated, then there are going to be some serious actions that we are going to take. We are not going to be violent. We are not going to be violent, but we are going to use the rights that we have. We are going to go here and let our voices be heard. We have to speak out to ensure that we are treated and be treated as a stepchild. Today, we are going to get some answers and you are going to hear a lot from other speakers. But I basically and briefly pointing out to you that we are being seriously affected and we are being sabotaged and victimized for what I don't know. So at this point, I am going to close and allow the speakers that are here to continue.
Thank you so much, Swerson. I hope you were listening quite a lot of information. I hope you've been writing down because sometimes, when we do not have all the information, we do go out and we say some things. But here is the time for you to hear exactly what it is. And I hear the words victimizing and sabotage and all of those words and what is happening to Hanover. And if you have pencils or you have pens, start to write because you have the questions and the persons are here to answer the questions. But at this time, we're pleased to welcome the Member of Parliament for Western Hanover, Heather Miller Bennett, Opposition Spokesperson, Gender, the elderly, the deputy spokesperson, deputy opposition spokesperson, on gender, the elderly, and persons with disability. Her small portfolio speaks directly to some of the people who are the most vulnerable in times of crisis. We know how much she has been advocating, and so today we will welcome her voice and the advocacy on behalf of the people of Western Hanover. Put your hands together and welcome MP Helen. Allow me to stand on the protocols already observed, but let me especially extend a warm welcome to Comrade Mark Golding, party opposition leader, and also to the Hanoverians here this evening. Welcome. Welcome to this discussion session. And we look forward to the dialogue this evening and for you sharing. It has been over 9 months going on since Hurricane Melissa devastated Western Hanover. Yet, for many Hanoverians, hurricane is far from over. People are still without roof, without jobs, and without means to rebuild their lives. Months later, many families remain vulnerable, exposed to the elements, and wondering when help will come. The Ministry of Labor's record, the last email I received from them, indicated that 1,843 persons have been assessed and 97% processed. But what does process mean? What really does process mean when people are still living under tarpaulin? I have identified, and from our data collection, 181 persons who are yet to receive any benefits. Of those, 121 say nobody came to their homes. Others say they were assessed but heard nothing further. And when they go down the Ministry of Labor, they are told that the program closed, they're in a cluster, them soon come, they put them can't bother with them. They must go over to the MP office. We cannot have a recovery program where people who are processed on paper but remained abandoned in reality. It makes no sense. And I want you to listen very careful, Hanoverians. They had a roof restoration program going on. What that means, they were going around, the Office of Disaster Preparedness initiated a program. And they were going to the parishes that were affected to fix roofs. They fixed 400 roofs in other parishes except Hanover. How will we do so? Hanover deserves better. Hanover is our proud people, you know. They don't wait for government to do everything. They borrow, they patch, they repair, they put up tarpaulins, but a tarpaulin is not a roof. Eventually tears, it burns out, and it leaks. There are also families who simply cannot afford to help themselves. Farmers lost crops, livestock, and their livelihoods. I know because I see some of you that I know lost their livestock and livelihoods. Assistance from the Ministry of Agriculture has not reached everyone who needs it. Some workers remain unemployed because hotels and businesses are still closed or operating below capacity.
The covenant, therefore, must mean more than just telling us that they affect people. It must mean more than repairing, just saying that they're repairing buildings. It must mean restoring livelihoods, restoring dignity, and giving people the opportunity to rebuild. When people struggle to secure roofs, they're also dealing with the pile of garbage. You heard the mayor spoke about it. Piles of garbage, unbearable smells, and growing random populations. The people of Hove and Kingsvale and Dias and Kendall and Penrith, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Some communities go weeks, even months, without seeing a garbage truck. In Green Island, along the corridor towards Negril, that's a stretch going into Negril, collection points are overflowing. It shouldn't be that for a garbage truck, for them to initiate the collection of garbage, that the member of parliament has to call every morning or the councillor has to call every morning or send a message. It ought to be scheduled. This is a right, consistently collecting our garbage. It is a right. This is no longer merely, this garbage pile up, this pile up is no longer merely an inconvenience. It is a public health issue. And I want to say, where is the Ministry of Health? When you see all those rats going along the coast in Negril, in Green Island going into Negril, where is the Ministry of Health with all this overflowing of garbage? We cannot wait until poor garbage collection becomes a serious health crisis. The people in Salt Spring, over in Fuel, Mountain Court, Pedal River, they deserve better. Hanover, they deserve better. As for the water, it bad enough when I have no roof, and then the garbage, and then the water. That was a major concern before hurricane. It has gotten worse. Of course, we welcome the water resilience project. We see the pipelines being laid, some big pipelines going from Roots to Libre. We are grateful that the businesses will benefit. We are grateful that they're doing it. But what about the communities where people live? Will this reach our communities? That is the question. When will Askimish, Mount Peace, Rock Spring, Caldwell have reliable water? We would like to know what are the timelines for water going into those communities, for fixing the infrastructure in our community so that we can get water. We need those clear timelines. The government may say to you and every now and then the church, MP get this and MP get that and council get that and parish council get that. Yes, we received an allocation, I think it's approximately $2 million for water. But frankly, it is like having a check that nobody can catch. They give us a $2 million, let me tell you. The rate that NWC is paying the truckers, nobody wants a truck for that. They tell us that the gas gone up, fuel gone up, the parts of the vehicle gone up, the road mash up their truck because they know they're bad too. So, and most of the places that need water, the trucks don't want to go there because the terrain is so bad. The road is so bad, they don't want to go. But even so, after hurricane, let me tell you a little story. After hurricane, we couldn't get any trucker to go because they said water commission rate too low. And when water they truck water for water commission, they're not getting paid. So that in itself is a problem. But let me tell you the story. This trucker, well, two truckers, assisted in trucking the water for us. And that was from about a month after hurricane or two after hurricane. And up until now, he cannot get paid. They're not paying the truckers a call, a right, and nothing. That is not fair. No business, these people are running a business and no business can continue providing a service when he does not know when he will be paid. And obviously, he must do better. You can't treat people like that. The people are already not getting the water. So I get this little bit of money. Of course, $2 million, two will drop in and it done. But I get this money and I can't use it. It's like I can't do nothing with it because nobody wants to truck water. So then, when the people call me from Rock Spring and over in Philippines, I cannot do nothing. And nobody wants to go truck water for the rate and because they are not being paid. Recently, the roads is a sore point. The low sea wall. You heard me talk about it. And yes, I make a work done on it. And we're happy. And they tell us that we're going to complete it in a couple of years. And yes, we're happy. But that cannot be a permanent fix. It is a temporary fix. And I will say loud and I will continue to advocate. It is a temporary fix. There must be a permanent solution. There must be more emphasis placed on our road infrastructure. And I will continue to advocate. And listen, look, I must talk these things because it affects you. And I'm here talking about it because you spoke to me. And so I'm here talking about it. We got, the minister spoke about an allocation to fix some road, to do some patching right across. When I work out it, based on the roads that I get about $4 million per road. Trust me. It really can't fix nothing. I don't know if you're telling me anyway it needs to pop. Whatever I start. But I believe that more emphasis needs to be placed on our road infrastructure to go them back. Not to talk about the breakaways across the constituency. Over Grange, I've spoken and written about it, where little girls fell over one of those breakaways. I guess they're probably waiting until we have a disaster. As for the one around by Kingsdale, that breakaway every day gets worse. It cannot continue. I have brought this to the attention of the National Works Agency and also to the minister. And I'm hoping that it doesn't get to crisis before action is taken. We have given the warnings. Now we need action. I hear the mayor talk about action. We are a set of people, we tend to be long suffering, but there comes a point when it will stop. It will stop. Hanover deserves better. What I will say this evening, and we want to hear from you, so I will wrap up. We cannot rebuild Hanover on temporary patches. We cannot restore livelihoods with promises. We cannot solve the garbage crisis with occasional collections. We cannot solve the water crisis with sporadic trucking. And we cannot wait for tragedy before fixing dangerous roads and breakaways. Hanover is not asking for special treatment. Hanover is asking for equal treatment. Our farmers feed this country. Our tourism workers drive the tourism industry. Our businesses employ people. Our communities contribute to Jamaica. When disaster comes, Hanoverians deserve the same urgency, attention, and resources as everybody. So I say to them, come to Hanover. Come and see the families still living on the damaged roads. Come and see the garbage. Come and see the roads and breakaways. Come and talk to our farmers who lost everything and workers who remain unemployed. Then tell them that 97%, tell them exactly what that 97% means. Because for the person sleeping under the leaking tarpaulin, recovery has not come. For the farmer who lost his livelihood, recovery has not come. For the worker whose hotel remains closed, recovery has not come. For the family without land and water, recovery has not come. 10 months and counting is long enough. The people of Hanover have waited. We have endured, held themselves, and survived. Now it's your turn, government. You need to come and help us. Hanover deserves better. Western Hanover deserves better. I will continue to speak, but I will allow you this evening to speak and let them know Hanover deserves better.
Hanover deserves better. I mean, is that Hanover deserves better? Probably when I was doing a speaking on song, I was saying after three. Everybody saying Hanover deserves better. After three, 1, 2, 3. I was hoping that Karen you just put the camera so that they actually see that as a people saying it, that of course we deserve better. And as I listen to the passion of the member of parliament, as a theatre person, I heard a poet said, people balling, and the rain soon start falling. Next month is August, so hurricane season will come again. Or some people just lay down and look up at night. Or when the mosquito them a bite and the darkness have no light. And there's nothing much, no ceiling over their head. All you see is tarpaulin instead. People bawling and the tarpaulin. Distress, wondering how the hell they end up in this mess. Uncomfortable, miserable, vulnerable, exposed to the elements of all directions. Dream blown away with the worldly possession, dejected and feeling rejected by the elected. Still waiting for dwellings to be erected. Enough pretty, enough cute. Big man and little youth, destitute. Does a catch like tree without root. Facing the truth that they have been abandoned. People burning under tarpaulin. And that is what is happening. A lot of people still burning under tarpaulin. And now in the time, when that election, when hurricane was going, people talking, well, Hanover, why they not talking about Hanover? As a matter of fact, I heard somebody said, where is Hanover? Hanover is that place. Remember that one? Yeah, I'm not understanding that Hanover is the birthplace of leadership. Yeah. And that we are not forgotten and we will no longer be the forgotten parish. And that's why today we're opening your mouth and you're going to talk and tell everybody, all the news leaders, that we deserve better, right? Amen. So thank you, Member of Parliament, Heather Miller Bennett. And now we're going to go to the east. And we welcome Member of Parliament Andrea Perkins and Opposition Person to Rickon. And at the time when we were working, Melissa made such a significant impact on our communities and our tourism industry. We welcome today as she speak about her perspective and also about the distress of the people of Eastern Hanover. Let's make her welcome. Opposition spokesperson, opposition leader, Mark Golding, and member of parliament of Stoke St. Andrew. Your worship, the mayor and first citizen of Hanover, Sheridan Canwells. I would also like to acknowledge Mrs. Natalie Nita Garvey, member of parliament for North Central St. Catherine, Mrs. Angela Bromberg, member of parliament for Southwest St. Andrew. From our municipality, of course, let me not forget my sister, member of parliament from Western Hanover, Heather Miller Bennett.
To our councillors from the municipality, we welcome you also, Councillor Frey from Hopewell, Councillor McIntosh from the Chester Castle Division, and our Western councillors that are here with us, Councillor Barnes and Councillor Chambers also. Hanover is often regarded as a forgotten parish, and this became apparent post-Hurricane Melissa. I want to just give you a quick overview of what happened or experienced. From UNPEN, we received in East Hanover 250 care packages, 50 cases of water. I partnered though with over 20 corporate entities and NGOs and the diaspora. Every little family from Hopewell Space, from Stanley Bay, from Chester Castle, that live overseas, they were the persons who took care of us in Hanover. We managed to distribute thousands of care packages. We hosted medical fairs, some in this very location, focusing on leptospirosis, water sanitation, and mental health. And I can tell you that mental health sessions were so needed. We also had some of those inland. Thank you, Pastor O'Brien. But Hanover, MP Miller said it, Miller Bennett said it before. We are a part of this country. We're not the last parish. We don't want to be labeled as the last parish anymore. We don't want that title. But we didn't receive much at all. We donated generators. I remember donating a generator to the Sandy Bay police station because they were in darkness for some time. I donated generators to schools, and these generators we received again from NGOs and private people. The programs that government introduced to the wider Jamaica, not just the persons down west, those programs failed the people of Eastern Hanover. Why do I say that? Let's talk about the THARP program. The THARP program is a program that is under the Ministry of Tourism through TEF. I was asked to provide 30 names, and I see some of the persons here today, and you will get your explanation of what happened. I was asked to produce 30 names. Some other members of parliament in the West were also asked to produce some names to receive $100,000 or what turned out to be $100,000 in materials. I want you to bear with me as I go to my phone and just read an email that one of the hospitality workers, we say we care about our hospitality workers, but I want to share with you this evening that none of those persons, the 30 persons that I was asked to provide information with, the 30 persons where I built up their hopes, they got nothing. What they got, instead of materials, is an email. Thank you for your interest in and application from LSD to the Tourism Housing Assistance and Recovery Programs, THARP. Following a comprehensive review of all applicants received, we regret to advise that your application has not been approved. This was not something that these hospitality workers were told depended on an approval process. We were told that once the names were submitted, they would have received 100,000, which shifted from 100,000 to 100,000 in building materials. And I'm looking at a gentleman at the back because his name too was on that list and he got nothing. Government must do better. The Ministry of Tourism, there is so much. Our hospitality workers hold up the industry, and to promise them something and not give it to them is indeed a shame. I'll move on to the other program because we hear about the programs, but sometimes as citizens, you don't understand what exactly to expect. So the Roots program, again, we were asked to take some persons now to Lucy, and persons are in this room that accompanied us to Lucy. The Minister of Labour and Social Security was there. Some persons even were photographed with a particular amount of money on a fake check. Those persons still have not received anything, but I want to share a real life story. There is a lady from Chester Castle, and she has given me permission to call her by name, Miss Sampson. Miss Sampson was one of those persons who went to Lucy, went on a stage post, her picture was taken, to promote the Roots program. Miss Sampson, after months of waiting, received nothing. Her house fell to the ground. Mrs. Sampson paid bus fare a number of times and went to the NIS office in Lucy. Miss Sampson was told that there were issues with her identification, they fixed that. Then when she went back a second time, there was another issue, and she kept going. Because our people in East Hanover are in desperate situation and dire need. Mrs. Sampson went back last week. Miss Sampson was not let into the government's building. Miss Sampson was not let into the government building. Someone met her on the outside and told her that her house is a part of a cluster. So we trick our people into believing that something is available, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's all darkness. All darkness. I want to move now to another program that was introduced after Melissa. Through the Minister of Local Government, because I know I sat in a meeting in one of the conference rooms in Parliament, and we were told, members of Parliament in the western section of the island, we were asked to provide over 200 names for cleanup. We provided the first 100 names. The men and women worked, cleaned up a part of the constituency. When it was time, though, for the second 100, they went out. And on a Monday morning, when the men and women started to work, was when we received a call that the program has to be postponed. So as members of Parliament, we drove around. And some persons are just getting an explanation now, because it was not possible for us to explain to everybody. We drove around hurriedly to stop people from working, work that the government asked us as your member of Parliament to give to you. I want to also mention that right now, I have persons who still have not received their monies from December. There were incorrect spellings, all sorts of mistakes. But the real issue is that it's 28 members of Parliament on this side. So we don't get much. And what we're used to constituents, where your member of Parliament would receive allocations to do little pushing, the government now extends that to government agencies.
And so NSWME handled the payments. STC collected the names. And though we have good rapport, good working rapport with these agencies, government, once again, has failed the people of Eastern Hanover and Hanover by extension. I want to talk about the water situation. Since I became member of parliament, I start with members of the hierarchy of the region of NWC. And I have to say that I made a tiny progress in Mount Pelion. That's an area that has not received water in over 10 years. They have received a little bit of water. So we are having the meetings. We are lobbying for the places like Milestone, Haddington. There are areas where pumps need to be improved. We are having the conversation. Bear with us. But we must wait on government to step up. Since I was a child, when a pump breaks down, it takes months to go back in that station. A pump was removed from Sandy Bay for over 3 months. Unacceptable. The pump was removed from New Mills for over 3 months also. Rest assured that we know when these things happen and we are lobbying for you. Like most infrastructure in Eastern Hanover, our roads. We have not had any special attention as it relates to the roads in East Hanover. I have reached out to the minister through emails and messages. We got a little bit of patching, but patching is not what is needed in East Hanover. Most of our roads, Milestone, from Cascade, not Cascade, let's start at Q, go through Jericho, through Cascade, through Constantine, through Cold Spring, down to Flint River. Those roads need rehabilitation. Cashville, we need rehabilitation now. Where our constituents are feeling not just the pinch from repairing tires and repairing their vehicles, but our bodies are aching as well. When you have to drive 9 miles of bad road, it wears down your body. I believe Macfield to Shuttlewood is the absolute worst road in Jamaica that connects 2 major towns, the town of Montego Bay and Sablamar. I've driven through Jamaica, and I don't know if they forgot that Montego Bay is the second city, and Sablamar is indeed a big city also. So I'm making an appeal to the minister, to government in general. Come into Hanover, do a site. We see all these different visits in other places. Come to the parish that we label the last parish. The people of Hanover deserve more. I want to quickly tell you that, or just say to you, as it relates to the garbage situation. There's garbage, there's education, I'll wrap up quickly. But as it relates to the garbage, the very first meeting that Member of Parliament Miller Bennett and myself sat in, we were told that there has been an increase in garbage disposal. Then if there's an increase of something that you have to collect, what is needed? More units to collect it. We have not received new trucks. And I know people are saying, oh, it's the municipality. They're not government. So we must understand when you hear people saying, the councils can do better. They can't buy trucks. The councils can't hire drivers. So there is a retention issue there.
because their drivers are not staying. We don't have enough trucks, so we have two issues right there. I just want to remind you that we are fully aware of all the issues. As it relates to water, I covered water already. I'm all over the place because there is so much happening in East Hanover and in Hanover in general that we have to bring to the fore just before our speakers come up to talk to you. I want to speak on education, that our schools are not ready. Our schools are not ready because government continues to send contractors that they choose to work in Hanover. Con- Contractors that have worked here, there, and everywhere. Why not engage our local people? Why not spread out the work a little bit? If we continue to do politics, Jamaicans are going to suffer. Our children are suffering. We have no shelters. The hurricane season has started. Our shelters are not ready. And as I mentioned shelters, I want to thank JMB and Red Stripe. JMB rehabilitated one of our community centers over in Maryland. I thank you. Red Stripe rehabilitated the Cascade Sports and Community Center, right? So if a hurricane comes, we have somewhere to house our people. I say to you this evening, and I have much more to talk about, but let me leave here and wrap up. I say to you this evening, East Hanover and West Hanover, that we must speak with one voice. We must speak with one voice. The issues that Member of Parliament Miller Bennett spoke about is not unique to West Hanover. I've listened to her and I heard the stories about the water truck drivers. We have the same issues in East Hanover. I will close by reminding you that you chose us to represent you and represent you. We will. It has been rough. It has been tough. We've had to fight agencies. We've had to bend over. We've had to beg. But we will continue to do it in the spirit and the pride that we feel as Hanoverians. God bless Hanover and God bless you.
I want you all, I'd like to do this speaking on something. After 3, I want everybody, when I hear a talk, all I can say is what a shame. And after 3, I want everybody to say shame. 1, 2, 3, let me hear you. What a shame. You know, I can't hear people bawling and the top bawling and the authorities them stalling. Only for money spent, but all the local tips have been spent less than 2%. And the powers that be take you and leave it cover food and dinner. What a thing, what a shame. I just want to say though, this is a little bit of housekeeping. Persons who have your phones out and you're recording, it is messing up the live stream. So the live screen is not going as clearly as we want it to. And remember, we want everything to be heard clearly. So you have to stop because every time the phones that are recording, the live stream is being interrupted, right? So I'm gonna ask you, you can go on YouTube, but we can give you where to go. I know you want to keep it, but we're gonna ask you to turn the phones off because the live stream is becoming a little bit we can't get it out, so just stop. All right? And we know that we will. Could you give them I want to ask MP Miller Bennett and MP Perkins to stand up for me, please. Both of them. We elected them on September 3 last year. And I hear some people saying that we don't know what I want. Well, let me tell you something. I want all of us to put our hands together and together. Oh, hold on now. And people because they have been working. And there's some people who don't understand, and I want to say, no, not one. And we are quarreling at them and not do this. But what do they have to do when they don't have nothing to do with it? And so when they think that they have, we have to give them a big, as a matter of fact, we give them a big round of applause because they deserve it. Thank you so much. As a first term MP, as a first term MP. And I am now going to bring somebody who I just enjoy the way that they advocate for the Jamaican people, who is not afraid for her voice to be heard. And every time I watch the sitting, I hear her in the background saying, shame, shame, shame. And I am so happy that she's not one of those who will back down, but she stands up for the people, not just as an opposition spokesperson and local government and participatory democracy, but she advocates for the functioning of communities and for citizens to participate in decision making. And so, Hanover, I want you to welcome her, welcome for me, the Member of Parliament for St. Catherine North Central, Mrs. Natalie Garvey. Give her a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I want to acknowledge the leader of the opposition. And if people did behave right, Prime Minister would have been today. And those who have buyer's remorse, who said in his marriage, we did tell you, we did warn you. But today is not. Okay? All right. Comrades all at the platform, you are actually today citizens of Jamaica, representatives in your own right, but I address you all as my comrades. I want to acknowledge those strong Hanoverians who have made it here this evening, who understand the importance of this conversation. I want to big up the leader of the opposition for taking the time and understanding the assignment of this level of communication with the people of Jamaica. Very important. It's not an election thing. Election differ. It's not a vote looking thing. Today is not about politics. Today is about Jamaica and Jamaicans well-being. We can all agree this evening that this process of recovery is really very slow. And if you're in a hospital and it takes you 10 months and you're still not recovered yet, we'll be wondering if you're dying. Not true? Yes. So after nearly 10 months, we're still here having the conversation because up until today, it is even one person still remaining in a shelter. It is one person too many. Yes. And in Hanover, there are some 6 persons remaining in shelters at the Ebenezer Church, yes, and over at Hyde Castle, or is it Castle Hyde? Castle Hyde. It therefore means that while we are talking about recovery, if we are not ensuring that every single Jamaican citizen is recovering, then none of us is recovering at all. I want to acknowledge that my mayor, because mayor, I know you have gone through a lot. I know how much you have advocated, and I know how much you receive, and I know how much you can do with what you receive. And the people of Hanover have to realize that what he gets for the entire municipality for the month and for the year sometimes can't fix one of my spark road. Because 1 kilometer of road on the spark as stipulated by the National Works Agency is $15 million. You hear me? 1 kilometer of road. That is less than half a mile. $50 million. That includes the resurfacing of the roads and putting in some side streets. I'm saying this to you because sometimes people want to blame the recovery process on the municipal corporations. The municipal corporations who can hardly do the work they are expected to do normally. That happened when the hurricane blew. With the enormous amount of debris which was generated from Hurricane Melissa, got no additional funding. Want me say it again? Got no additional funding to assist with the recovery in the parish of Hanover. So it's the same little money that you hear him talk about is what they have to be trying to work with. When it came to the garbage collection, he also had to put equipment in to assist the National Works Agency, the National Solid Waste Management Authority. When they, in fact, we were told, was offered $1 billion to help with the cleanup exercise. None of you never hear that. Never hear it. It was announced loud and clear, $1 billion. Yet the municipality was asked to assist in that regard. So I have to ask the question, where is the recovery? Who is recovering? And where is the recovery money going? I'd also like to know, why is it that people are still struggling and yet only a small percentage of recovery funds collected have been spent? Where is the recovery funds going, if not to the people of Hanover and Jamaica? I don't want to repeat too much of what has been said already, because local government services are the services which relate and the recovery process which relates to the garbage collection and the roads that we currently are facing every day. But I want to be able to say that the experience of Minister demonstrated how very unprepared we were for the disaster. The shelters that needed sheltering. In my own constituency, many of the shelters, some of them were still on areas where rivers were. And we had to move people in the middle of the night. So shelters were not ready to receive people. There was not even the basic amenities in those shelters. So you could not even get a proper drink of water or something to eat while you were there. Just the basic toilet paper to use the bathroom. Jamaicans deserve better, and we must demand better of our government. Where garbage collection is concerned, for me,
Leader, Jamaicans are not nasty people. Not inherently, anyway. And we would like to be able to stay home, put out our garbage, and the truck comes and collect the garbage. Believe me when I tell you that no Jamaican wants to be driving around with garbage in their cars to go dump along the roadside if garbage was being collected at home. No Jamaican would want to develop a mini dump in their town square if their garbage was being collected at home. There has been no schedule that anybody can reliably follow to know that on Monday, on Wednesday, and on Friday, the garbage truck will be coming through this community. So you can't put out your garbage with any confidence that the garbage truck will come and pick it up. If you dare put it out there, between the dogs and the puss and the rats, there is no health and environmental hazard plaguing your homes, your health, and your community. We expect government to play its role. We have to pay the taxes, even when the services are not delivered. We are expected to pay our taxes. If we don't pay our taxes, we get notices. Yes? And we must pay the taxes. So if we are expected to pay the taxes, we are expecting to get the services that the people of Hanover deserve. As it relates to the road infrastructure, local government and national government, for me, the coordinated effort did not work after Minister. Many roads are still impassable. Many communities still have breakaways, as Member Bennett said. Many communities still have land slippages, and you can only use one side of the road. In this day and age, the National Works Agency for me in each parish is an agency which really has no place in governance. It gets no funding, it has no resources, and they are unable to respond or react to any emergencies in the parish. Everything has to come from Kingston, like Kingston alone is Jamaica. Rural people matter as well. There are some roads which I know today are roads which you were told were going to be fixed after the hurricane. And you're waiting. And you're still waiting. And it is happening in every parish. After hurricane, Minister, almost every road is worse than it was before. And believe me, they did bad already. But this government has insisted upon blaming the PNP and blaming previous governments for the work that people elected to them to do. 11 years later, they're still talking about what the PNP should have done, or could have done, or would have done. You have been elected by the people, and the people expect you to govern because that is what they gave you the mandate to do. 250 food packages is what they got. See them there? In a parish that got such a tough hit, all you could give to the MPs to do the work was 250 food packages. No, is that a shame? Isn't that a shame? I want to know, and we all want to know this evening, of the $814.8 million that they said that they were going to provide to repeat the repair routes, how much has actually been spent in Hanover? Which projects have been completed? Tell us, can we want to know, can we not say? We want to know which remains outstanding. What's the completion date for those projects? Tell us and let we know so that all of Hanover can hear. What additional resources are available to Hanover Municipal Corporation at this time to be able to assist the residents of Hanover? Then I want you to know the corporation, give the corporation the resources. Let Mayor Samuels, who is here with the people, who know the people, councillors are working hard and they're willing to work on your behalf. Give them the resources they need to do the work which is required. Recovery is not just about rebuilding as well. It's not about just rebuilding roads and rebuilding roofs. It is restoring a safe living environment. We should therefore continue to highlight the bad garbage collection, the illegal dumping, the rodent infestation, the blocked drains, the stagnant water, the damaged sanitation infrastructure, the vulnerability of children, elderly people, and other vulnerable groups. The question is, government treats public health and treats it as if it's not an integral part of hurricane recovery or as a separate problem. The water restoration is critical, and we are in a drought period now. People are still suffering. We can't pay the truck because no truck now don't work for government, because government now pay them their money. They have to play till you can understand what I mean. I have been a member of parliament now for 5 terms. 5 terms. This is my 5th term. And I still have the problem of trucking water because government does not want to pay our truckers on time. So nobody wants to truck water for us. It is a crying shame. So Palm was reported in January that water restoration in Hanover was only 50% compared to 93% restoration nationally at that point. The Office of Utilities Regulation subsequently reported continuing intensive restoration work in the Western Division, with generator, electrical and mechanical problems still affecting many communities. What is the current status of water restoration in every affected community in Hanover? That creates an accountability demand rather than merely a criticism. The municipal coordinator itself must be strengthened. Minor water supply must be strengthened. Minor water supply is not even getting an allocation that is worth mentioning. And so you can't even help yourselves from your own streams and your own rivers to be able to supply your communities with water. We are looking at a new day and a new dawn for local government so that we can in fact deliver the services that our people require. You know the problems. I do not want to simply talk about the potholes and the broken drains. You know them already. You live them, you experience them every day. But I want to just discuss for 2 minutes. What would Hanover look like if its local government actually worked the way it should? What would Hanover look like if the citizens did not have to beg government for basic services? What would Hanover look like if a young entrepreneur could apply for a permit from a telephone chat applications online and know exactly when a decision will be made? What would Hanover look like if residents could see where the municipal money was being spent and if they got enough money to spend? What would Hanover look like if communities could help determine which roads, which drains, which markets, which recreational spaces and public spaces receive priority? That should be your local government deciding on your behalf based on your priorities. What would Hanover look like if the municipal corporation had the authority, the professional capacity, and the technology to solve Jamaica's local problems? What would Hanover look like if government stopped treating citizens as recipients of government and started treating them as partners in government? That is the Jamaica we would like to see built. We're not here to deny that we have seen some things done. We are here to ask whether enough has been done. quickly enough for the people who are waiting. Jamaica needs a local government system in which recovery is decentralized. You know, not check minister to get something done. You have a mayor, you elected him to do the work, and your councillors are responsible people who you elected to put in charge. They should be properly financed. They should be measurable results. That would fit well with the broader local government vision of the Jamaica Youth of fundamentally rethinking the relationship between central government, municipal corporations, and citizens. So for too long, Jamaica has talked about local government reform as though reform means changing an administrative procedure. I believe we need to change a philosophy. We need to move from local government to the locally empowered, from permission to participation, from bureaucracy to service, from paper to digital, from secrecy to transparency, from political discretion to predictable rules, from central control to local empowerment, and from treating citizens as petitioners to treating them as shareholders in their communities. That is the new vision that this administration would have for local government. The Jamaica we want cannot be built entirely from Kingston. It must be built in Hanover, in St. Elizabeth. It must be built in St. Mary and St. Catherine. It must be built in every village, every town, every community participating in every parish. Because the strength of Jamaica is not found only in the capital of Jamaica. So let this Hanover challenge to Jamaica. Do not ask us to settle for yesterdays. We want big tomorrows. Let us make Hanover the parish where Jamaica sees what modern local government can become. And we are going to work towards it. And let's begin tonight. God bless you.
Come on, put your hands together. A bigger round of applause than that. So much. And the Bible said, who have ears to hear and who have a mouth to speak, let them. So when we go to the communities and hear people with a lie, you have to be able to stand up to say it is a lie from the pit of hell because this is what is happening. And as she said earlier, many are saying, boy, if me may know. But if me may know, always come after. And that is why we want to show that we know if you may know. But the next time we know just what we know, what is to be known, to be done, right? And by the way, let me tell you something. You hear, by the way, all those who have water running in the pipe, put your hand in the air. What benefits are there? Those who have water running nice in your pipe, put your hand in the air. All right. Those who have no water, put your hand in the air. See, no water. But let me tell you something, by the way. Tomorrow, at about 3 p.m., the minister in charge of water will be, I don't know if they will be in the new water something. We don't have the water, but he'll be here in Hanover, making sure that you see the water thing happening on the road. So I don't know if he's coming to open up something that have no water, but he'll be in Hanover tomorrow. While we have no, the people need. Right. And let me say it again. Let me turn around and continue again. The people need. I hope the minister here, when you come tomorrow, if you get the chance to go by to see him, to say, I don't know what to do here, but we need water. Amen. And now we're moving down nicely. We're going to come with to a lady who's a powerhouse. unafraid, bold, brave, beautiful, open our mouth, take up the mace and mash up the place. And it's not about the mace, but it's about ensuring that our voices are heard. And she traveled, this is one person of faith, you know, and she said, me no put the mouth and grow when we talk. She changes the agenda to suit the people of Jamaica. And so, Hanover, I want you to welcome the first female party chairman, our own, Dr. Marcella Brownberg, chairman of the People's National Party, shadow minister for social protection and social transformation. Put your hands together and welcome her to the podium. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, to all the members of the head table, and in particular, the leader of the opposition, Samar Gode. It's hard to tell people that you're not to say all protocols observed, right? All of you are big people go up there and say it is not correct. You are to greet everyone, and it should be enough. But when I am guest in Hanover, to my two sister colleagues, I can't just pass them stuff. You know what I mean? So I have to bring them up. Both MP Miller Bennett as well as MP Curtis. And Curtis and MP Lisa Garvey. Can I tell you, I came in today and I was kind of just listening. And I spoke to one or two persons coming in. And I sat there while others were speaking and I was looking and listening to the reaction. And I don't know how government ministers go to them bed and sleep at night. Because I sat there with a heavy heart to know what you are going through. And I think somebody asked it, what you do them? But me, you know, don't you know one? Yeah, we know one. I gave them a shine with a nine. You remember that? But here what happened. You see, after they give them that money, it means that you have to stand up with them. It means that you have to be with them, beside them, behind them, and in front of them, so that they continue to have the courage to leave every ball that comes in front of them, not you. Thinking when everyone's foot was stand up and stop progress. And positive, that is not violence, right? I just want to declare. We are speaking metaphorically. Yeah? You saw that kind of syllabus school, you know, that's true. Yes, we're speaking metaphorically. Right? So the people man put it on coming out way, that's true. But ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to be here today. I am here as spokesperson on social protection and social transformation. And that's the one that comes always about stuff. So and sure that's true. Where to go to doesn't, you know that, right? So in my heart, I always have an appreciation for the work that coaches do. Because they're there every day. And when a business MP they want to say, the councillors are always closest to the ground. Yeah? And we know that. I true that. That's true. I true that. The good thing in Hanover is that 9 now. So the 9 work as one. No. Yes. 7 councillors, 2 MPs, 9 representatives working as one. Eh? No man, I didn't put them where we're fixing. Tonight, that's what else tonight. We come back to that argument. That argument is not tonight argument. But that's their work towards. Because as long as there's a little thing that looks like a separation,
them other people, them poor between that and pull us apart. So it is important for the 7 plus 2 now to work as no, you know, so they can do it. The 9 must work as okay, good. Now you have that mandate, you know what I mean? Watch every one of them. And anyone is seen our work together as one, you call them. I said, listen, man, I want I want thing up here now. Now I know who the person is. Yeah? Because you vote for them and you put them there, they're working on your behalf. And you have to hold them accountable. But I don't know how many of you know that today, August 19th, is also celebrated as a World Humanitarian Day. And I thought it was a good coincidence to have this discussion with you about how government is responding to the Melissa victims, how they are responding to Hanover, who pay their taxes, right? Who are decent law-abiding citizens on World Humanitarian Day. And so I am here, not just as a spokesperson, not just as an MP colleague, but I'm here as someone who has been listening to the stories coming out of Western Jamaica and Hanover, in particular about recovery post Melissa. And I know, as we have heard, that to every mother, yes, in Sandy Bay, in Lucy, every farmer in Chester Castle, right? Every family, wherever they are, that's still waiting on an assessment. We are here today to say, we see you, and we are here for you, because we believe. And then the can says what? 10 months. Well, to me, it's almost 1 year. That's how we see it. It's almost 1 year. And 1 year, I believe, is just too long for so many of you to be without water. For so many persons to be with their tarp over their head, which should be temporary. Some still without boots. Some catching there, because the circumstances just aren't good enough where you are, because you are waiting on whether it's a roof program, the tarp program, or any other allocation. So we speak over here, and that's what we're talking about today. World Humanitarian Day is about strengthening the global solidarity, but more importantly, it is about empowering local communities. And the call is actually for all of us to act for humanity. You know what I mean? Right? If you're acting for humanity, it means that you recognize in everybody that human being. Yes? And that if you have a responsibility as minister, as spokesperson, as MP, that you're going to do all that you can to empower them, to make their lives better, to allow them to cope, yes, in this world. And so I'm glad to be having this conversation with you. I don't know if you see that or I see, but I believe that this government don't know how to act for humanity. From all that we have seen from them, they don't know how to be human. Because truly, I don't think they care. I don't think that they care. And some might say, well, maybe they care, but maybe they're true, not true. Pumpkin butter, all right. Pumpkin butter is okay. But you know when they ups and downs is okay, not true. So some places is okay, and others are not. And today, what we want to do is to talk about the others that are not, and to make the point that we are not willing to sit silently and allow that. Because the money that they're collecting from Jamaicans and well wishers are supposed to go towards
the medical victims. And you know what I say, they're not here and they're not acting for humanity. We can come back to medicine. But forgive me, I just introduce you for half a second what happened in Cooper Spain. You know what happened in Cooper Spain, naturally. Yeah? The truth is that Cooper Spain wasn't the first. Who remember 15 one time? Yeah. Who remember West Albion? Yeah? Pleasant Valley, Coral Spring, going all the way back. Yeah? Have just Coral Spring. So we know that they have a history of not caring. We know that they have a history of being callous to Jamaicans. And if we are to be honest, most of the times when they behave like that, the Jamaicans that they're treating like that look like me. Yeah? Look like me and look like you. With the big head, not true. With the glorious skin that Marcus God tell us about. Yeah? Yeah? Look like me and you. If they are different, then treat them differently. But people like me and you, then treat them hug and down all the time. And I believe, yes, it is time for Jamaicans to get up and say no more. We can't just don't celebrate Marcus Garvey's birthday and sit down and just take everything like the nothing and it's okay. Marcus returning in his grave, if he knew that we sit down quietly and we're not marching up and down to get rid of them. He would turn in his grave if he knew that when the minister of water talk, some people are up there with some placard that says Hanover want water. Don't come here to bring water to Hanover to send to some other places. Like I said, there are places there better than Hanover. Not true. But I leave that with you. So let me also say this. The whole of the state when a disaster like medicine, I'll come back to medicine now. When something like medicine happens, tell the scene in 3 steps. They need to show up fast, tell the people what's happening, and walk with them to recovery. Show up fast, tell the people what's happening, and walk with them to recovery. And on all 3 counts, the government has failed. All 3 counts. And what that then needs your members of parliament to do is to do extra work. Because what they have to do, which they've started doing, is to make a list of everybody who got some kind of damage. And then to follow up to see what you have or you have not done. And I'm going to tell you, because I know as an MP how difficult that task is. You kind of really want to do it, you know why? Because everybody you speak with is going to believe that you are responsible for giving them some kind of assistance. So you don't really want to do it. But there's no other way to do it. Because if you don't take the time to identify everyone, you cannot stand up in parliament. You cannot go to the minister to say, Minister, is 1,000 people affected. It's only X that I see. You see this argument about the cluster. You live in the cluster. Party leader, we have to do something about it. We have been saying to the government that the system that they have should be one that allows anybody who was affected to call a number, speak to a person, and get clear indication of where the processing of their application is. And to tell us that they are not approved is not enough. It is not enough. You have to tell us why we are not approved. If you say we are part of a cluster house, you have to tell us what that means. Because when I asked, here's what they tell me, say cluster mean. Cluster just mean that is a whole heap in a different room that make up a yard or a house. Now I don't know about you. But where I come from, I know that that is normal thing. And I know that those are different families and should be considered as different homes. I know that. But those people are looking about this thing here. They don't know that because they live in an ivory tower. They live in an ivory tower. So they don't know what is happening on the ground. To know that yes, my sister, my cousin, my brother live right here, so with them own a family, taking them own other people with them, and we all have separate homes, although we live right here. So, and to stay from far, you might think it's our house. And it cannot be right for that description of a multi-family household to be struck from getting a benefit from government when they really need it. Because chances also are, in many of those cases, you're living so tight because you can't afford to buy one big house family where you want the panic with takers. That's true. Right? So that level of discrimination, we should not and we cannot allow. We cannot. So we are going to have to find that way to identify all of those cases. Maybe take some pictures of what some of those cluster homes look like, what the families look like, and ask, why is this house, this building, that house is three families, all of them struck because they live too close to one another. Not in this Jamaica. So I think that these are some things that we are going to have to do. We are going to have to tell the story and we are going to have to put to the rest of Jamaica what the circumstances are that the ministers do not understand and therefore do not know how to deal with those things. Yeah? I also want to say, we have also been asking that for those persons who don't know whether they were visited or not, who don't know if they are on a list. Yeah? How do you get there? It cannot be too late for an individual who has suffered damage from Melissa to put their name on a list when the reality is there, the proof is there, the evidence that the house was there before Melissa, not there anymore. As simple as that. And I believe that again, with all the risks involved, we have to identify those individuals, make a case, and we should not stop until those cases are addressed. One of the things that I like about the celebration of World Humanitarian Day is that there is a focus, as I said, on empowering the local communities, and they believe that a crisis cannot be effectively dealt with unless you empower local leaders and bring them in as part of the solution. And that was one of the missing steps with the government. I believe that they did not have the confidence, yes, to bring in local leaders. Your MPs, your counselors, your church leaders, your business leaders, your community leaders who are here. If they set up a system that's transparent, it doesn't matter who the individuals are who are helping. That's true. Because you ask for names, you ask for proof, you ask for that, and it will be there. They did not do that. And so now we are in a bind and we have to find a way out. You know why we have to find a way out? We have to find a way out because it is not fair to abandon victims, women, children, families who have lived their lives as law-abiding Jamaicans, honest working Jamaicans, who, because of Melissa, have found themselves in need. Individuals who ordinarily would never beg you nothing, would not ask you for help, fix them room before, would not ask you for food for nothing. But because of Melissa and the damage, they now find themselves where they never thought they would be. One of the things that keep playing in my mind is a 72-year-old pensioner who said that he fixed up his house as he was retiring and was prepared to live a good life in retirement. And then minister came and destroyed his house. He said he has absolutely no way of rebuilding his home. He just doesn't have it. He's now in retirement, living on a very small income, and he spent everything he had when he was living. I don't believe that we, as elected representatives, can sit down and pretend all is well and abandon a Jamaican like that man in his time of greatest need. We can't do it. And when I tell you, because your MPs talk about how hard it is to push, sure they talk about how brave and courageous we are in Parliament, but I want to tell you some of the truth. Sometimes when we speak, we are victimized. Yeah? Sometimes when we speak, there are ministers who believe we should be nice to them if we want to get things for our people. So often it's a balance that we have to make. But we are here tonight because we understand that the task we have taken on as leaders, political leaders in this country, means that we too have to make personal sacrifice for the individuals who have placed their faith and trust in us to bring them in. But I say it so you understand. And I say it also so that you know that every time you see your MPs and your councillors on the road, give them a little word of encouragement. Because sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a lonely, lonely road. Sometimes it is only your faith in the Most High that keeps you going. Sometimes it's a word of prayer that is sent to you that made you say, yes, I can start today as I really want to start it. So I'm asking you, no matter what you do, all that you want, trust them. Every now and again, send a word of prayer. Every now and again, ask them how they are doing and listen. Don't just ask and keep going because they need your support. I want to make sure that my party leader come and talk. So I want to leave one of the things with you. I know that the MPs are starting a listing of the individuals who have suffered damage. I want to encourage them to complete that list. And I want in particular to identify those individuals who don't know whether they are assessed or not assessed. I want you to also pay attention to those who have no idea what is happening with a request that they sent in. As a spokesperson for social protection and social transformation, and I know naturally we make the same commitment as well as the party, we will ensure that whatever ministry and agency you need to go to make those demands, to get those answers, that we are there with you as well. Because we are using Hanover as a test case. We are not going to allow the government. Look at Cooper Spend. I passed Cooper Spend today and I had to go down there and look and see the condition. And you see the tape for them put up there? Yes. You know that those are the things that have been coming to hurricane. So they put carry cup give hurricane victims. But they send them people to lift up people's house, people start crying, and books end up here. We cannot allow them to continue using the funds that they get from minister victims as they have a mind. We must ask for accountability And we must ask for transparency. In fact, roundabout, no, we are asking them for every single account that you have, every single contribution that you get already. We want to see how it was spent. We want to see how it is being spent. All of them, that the money that you have in the bank, growing interest. We want to know how you're going to spend that interest. We want to see the interest as it is accruing. So we know whether it's $1, $2, $3, 5, and 10. So we can then determine and see where it goes. And I'm asking you to stand with us as we ask for those questions. Because we cannot allow the government to get away with it. So as we celebrate World Humanitarian Day, I want to remind you that it is about local leaders helping in cases where humanitarian aid is required. You were not given the opportunity last time to do it, but you are still able to do it as you go about the whole process, getting the information, following up, and supporting your MPs and councillors to get the information and not stopping until every single hurricane victim has received some kind of compensation. Bless you. Sorry. What's a lot of information World Humanitarian Day? I want to give Dr. Angela Thornburg a big round of applause. And she said something as we listened to all that happened. And I got felt so sad when we listen to what is happening around, and especially when all these things about Hanover are coming to the fore. And when she said, remember that these member of parliament and those that are elected, that there's someday when the struggle is so hard, that they feel like they can't go on. And sometimes the little text and the little message matter. And so instead of tearing them down, let us listen, try to build them up. Because one thing she said, the nine shine. And we want them to keep shining. And so with our encouragement, they'll keep shining. So tomorrow, send your council a little text and your MP a text and tell them that you're praying for them. Because we have mandated them and we know that you do well. So thank you so much. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment now for us to listen. When communities are hurting, when families are rebuilding, and when people are asking for answers, leadership matters. And leadership is not about simple holding a title. It is about having a vision to see beyond the crisis, the courage to speak the truth to power, and the commitment to stand with the people. Today we have a man with us who have dedicated himself to public service and national leadership. A man who understands the politics, and politics must ultimately be about the people. A man who, when they walk out, take the parliament into the public space. A man who is not afraid and will stand up and advocate for the people of Jamaica. I heard somebody recently said, one market G on the app. He is the president of the People's National Party, the leader of the opposition, and a leader who carries a vision for Jamaica where there's dignity and integrity, and where every community and every person is a smiling. Yes. Hanover, let us welcome the party president. Oh, Marco, wherever you are, stand up and give him a Hanover welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. I've been told that you can't say all protocols observed. So I must acknowledge our two members of parliament for Hanover, our mayor, my MP colleagues, our councillors who are here, and all of the citizens of Hanover who have come out to share with us and to have this discussion and dialogue this afternoon going into evening. I am not proposing to make a big speech because part of the purpose of this occasion is to hear from you and for you to have an opportunity to talk to us and us to reply and hear so we can share and get the benefit of the information coming from the people. But what I would start by saying is this. I think the government's response to this disaster called Melissa is shockingly bad. It is really atrocious. When it first happened and the world was looking at Jamaica and all the NGOs locally and from foreign came in and foreign governments were paying a lot of attention, things were happening to some extent. But after Christmas into the new year, people moved on. And the people who had suffered the damages from the hurricane felt abandoned. The government has had no cohesive, proper process for getting Jamaica back on its feet, especially Western Jamaica, including Hanover. So you've had this little haphazard approach like the roof program, where you have so many people who have suffered damage, who have submitted their names, who have been assessed but haven't yet received a benefit. You have the TARP program for tourism workers, names submitted, all rejected. You have nothing for the business community, especially the small businesses that have been damaged. Is it any wonder that Jamaica is in a deep recession? Is it any wonder that we've had 3 consecutive quarters of negative growth, 9 months of negative growth, with 3 more months ahead of us? Well, we're really the 4th quarter now of this period I'm speaking about, projected to be negative as well. So that by the end of September, Jamaica will have experienced 1 year of negative growth. How can you expect anything different when the government sees a disaster and does not respond in a comprehensive way to get people back on their feet? And I must tell you, we heard the announcement last December about this massive envelope of international funding, $6.7 billion that would be there to reconstruct Jamaica. But Jamaica needs reconstruction now. It needed it yesterday and the day before. And we're not seeing anything being done to get this thing going. They conceptualized NARA. NARA was originally supposed to be the response to Hurricane Melissa damage. It has nothing to do with Hurricane Melissa. NARA is a way that the government is trying to deal with a situation that they failed to deal with for the 10, 11 years coming up that they've been in power, where they have not been able to create an environment where the economy is growing at any meaningful pace. And they're saying, well, the reason for that is because things take too long and the bureaucracy is too inflexible. And therefore, NARA is going to be a way that Andrew Holness as Prime Minister can, if necessary in his mind, circumvent and get around any bureaucratic hurdle and just push everything through. But we are not even going to know, because it's not going to be made public, when those powers are exercised. There's no accountability in the structure of NARA. And private investors investing over 15 million US can apply to be put on a list that they can get the benefit of the push through of their projects. That's a recipe for corruption. That's a recipe for corruption. In the meantime, 9, 10 months past since the hurricane, NARA is not even functional. The person who was chosen by the government and hired to run Mara, visiting Peru to go look at what Peru did in response to some flooding back there. But that Nara is not yet, in effect, doing anything for the people. And the economy is in a terrible condition. And then, what's more, what else is going on makes you feel like Jamaica is not a place where the people really matter. So, our situations like what is happening in Cooper's Spain, where some long-standing court order is suddenly enforced. And the police go into the community in the wee hours of the morning, scrape up the man them in the community, carry them and go lock them up in Farmwood jail. And then the bulldozers coming with more police, knock down the people in the house. And it's only after that process is finished, they release the man them and they don't charge them anything because they haven't done anything wrong. No, and then of course, the MP says she never know nothing about it. Government claim they don't know. So how is it then they have helicopter in the sky and so much police involved in enforcing a private man's court order? It's not credible. Then we have this beach, I think you can call it Jacob. I don't remember the name of the beach. The beach beside Silver Sands, where people have been occupying, doing business on that beach, structures have been erected, they've been there for many years. And all of a sudden, all these notices to quit are put on their structures. The notices are in the name of the NRCA, Natural Resource Conservation Authority, as owner. That's very strange. It's NRCA really the owner of that property? I don't believe so. I don't know NRCA is no big landowner of valuable land along the beach. So you have the state working in that way, no consultation with the people again. People's livelihoods under threat, their investment under threat, and the state is not there to help them. The state is oppressing them. And we saw it in Clifton, in Bernard Lodge. We saw an attempt in No Ida's Vale, at a place in Pleasant Hill. And we've seen it in other parts of the country. And that is why I'm saying we need a proper inquiry into how rights in relation to land are enforced where people have occupied land for long periods of time and have invested and are relying on that for their own personal well-being. It can't just be that you just enforce private rights with no regard for the rights of the people who are there. And the role of the state is to balance those things fairly. So these are some of the things that we see going on. And we want to see a better Jamaica. We want to see a Jamaica where access to beaches is dealt with in a way that gives our people a feeling that they are part of the country. It can't be a situation where we continue to allow development in a way that excludes our people from their own access to the beauty of the country. Mistakes have been made along the way. Most political parties have made mistakes along the way. But that is no reason for us now to continue to worsen our situation, which is already bad. Now is the time to fix it. We've seen other things. Corruption is a big problem in the country. Of a situation where now the Prime Minister's own personal finances can be signed off on as being in order by the anti-corruption agents. We have another situation where a minister in cabinet has been recommending a prosecution for serious offense of corruption is allowed to stay in cabinet and challenge that matter in court. That is not the system that we operate. When there is a cloud over you, you check for yourself until you have indicated your name. And then you can come back at that point. So how can the people in this country have confidence in this government? When there's so many things going on that indicate that they're not governing for the people. The way they deal with Melissa victims. Since I came here this evening, I met a couple of people who've told me their own situation. Serious damage to their homes. Nothing has been done to help them. That can't be right. And then the economy is in contraction mode because people are suffering and people can't get their lives back together. Businesses cannot thrive in an environment where the people who are the customers are suffering so badly. The government their economic policy is failing because their economic policy is not tackling these issues. In fact, it's making them worse. So we're in a spiral, a negative spiral, a downward spiral, and there's no government policy that is seeking to do anything to reverse that spiral. So we are here as the opposition, and we're not perfect. We say something, sometimes things are said that should not be said. That's the nature of the modern world where communication is so pervasive. But we are never going to bulldoze at people's house and drive them up into the worst poverty. We will never do that. And we are committed to building a society where all of the people in this country, especially those who have historically suffered from the system, are looked after, that their rights are protected, and that they can step up in life and be whatever they want to be and are prepared to work towards. Because the people of Jamaica are who we are about. That's why we are called the People's National Party. People come first, but we're national too. So all Jamaicans are welcome if they come with a clean heart and want to see the country progress. So I'm going to pause now because I want us to have some time to hear from you guys, our audience who have come to participate. And you can say what you want to say or ask what you want to ask, and we will try our best to respond. So, Madam Master, sir,
Thank you so much. Spoken like a true leader and a visionary leader. And the people say, Amen, Amen. You know, every time that I hear when we talk about these things, and as I sat there and just for a moment reflect about what is happening in our parish, in your communities, and how uncaring this government is. And just a moment reflect that it's nowhere near election, but we have a set of a party and a leader and a team that cares, that wants to hear about the people. It's not about no election gimmicks. It is about putting people first. And so we are very honored to be able to be a part of this conversation. And so it is now your time to speak. Let your voices be heard. There are some microphones, and I'm going to ask to come to the middle, where it may not be, based on the way the media is. I'm going to ask the person, the microphone, to come to the side, um, so that you can ask your questions. So just line up for me on the side that way. Unfortunately, we can't do it at the middle. So if you go to the side, if you have a question, make your way over to the side, and the microphone will be handed to you, and you ask your questions. May I have the microphone, please? We are going to get going while we're waiting on the microphone. So, if you Is the microphone ready, please? All right. What in the interest of time? This is all right. So let's take the microphone with you, please. Over there. Right.
Good evening, everyone. This is Comrade Scarlett. I'm a runner. And if you carry me, I will be back here.
All right. Okay. So remember, we're keeping the questions as it relates to Hurricane Melissa and the recovery process and the questions. We heard them posed today. We heard about garbage, we heard about water, we heard about the roofs program. So that's where we're going to take it from. Is the hand of one unknown? All right, tell you what, let's come and use this microphone. Come this way. All right, come this side.
Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I want to say here and special welcome to the party leader, Mark Kennedy. My good friend, Andrea Perkins, Member of Parliament for Eastern Hanover, Eda Miller, Western Hanover, His Worship, the Mayor, distinguished guests on the platform. No, I did not come here to talk about politics. But we have to leave that a little bit, right? But what I am here about is that it's almost a year since Melissa. My rooftop gone complete. I had to sleep with my people and my family for 1 week. People from the NIS office came to my house. They get all relevant documents. They come to my house. After waiting, can't get no help, I call. They are saying to me that my PRN need to get pocket. So I said, no man, something wrong. What's wrong with my PRN? They said, my name, yes, your name is on the list, but you have to come to Lucy. I drove to Lucy, and believe you me, after speaking to one of the guys in front of me, take my documents, write up, I wait for 1 hour and a half. They said they was in a meeting. Then they called me inside. And you know what they said to me? Mr. Martin, your house has not been processed. We only have your name and telephone number. I said, oh, what are you talking about? The big man in the place called a lady. The lady stepped in. The man said, you're aware of this situation? She said, yes. So then the man said to me, Mr. Homeboy, the government stopped the payment. And I want to take this platform to ask the most honorable Prime Minister Andrew Willis, is this in Eastern Hanover handpicked or a looking up yes or politically? Please investigate it for me. Thank you very much.
So much, Mr. Martin. Chair, any updating? Chair, any Chair, any updating? He's asking if it's a looking of this, is it politically motivated? Or let us hear from somebody else.
My house was totally damaged. They come and verify. They call when they were doing the first handle. But they thought, take my number, so they will call me, make sure I get the check. It's 9 o'clock now. I go there, only thing they tell me, you're on the list. Nothing there, nothing more. I even went on Perkins online, and Mr. Perkins calling. Still no answer, we can't get from him. Still waiting.
Still waiting. Still waiting. And by the way, that's someone whose house was totally, everything in her house was completely demonic. And she was on the list. And she is still waiting. Oh, she was on the program for the 10 persons. And she's still waiting.
Pleasant evening, leader of the opposition, powerful women ministers, chairperson, Ms. Miller, your worship, the mayor, councillor, faithful people of Hanover, good evening. I am here this evening, and as they would have said, if not hot good enough cyanide, as an good cyanide, right? The ministers they have talked about the garbage, and I am here to speak of Hanover with the garbage collection. It is deplorable. Hurricane has passed, and we have recovered. Yes, we are recovered because we are alive, but we are not recovering. I've seen so many rats because of the garbage. You're at NBC dog they run from you because they don't want them to eat. So I am wondering, I don't want to be rude, but I think you're using bulldozers for the wrong purpose. Because if the garbage truck is not coming, and I spoke with one garbage truck collectors, and I've seen the garbage truck 9 months, almost 10 months since the hurricane, and the garbage truck only come 5 times. I've seen one of the garbage collectors in Lucy, and he said there is only one truck. One truck. And that's the truck for Hopewell. They have to be married from Western to Eastern Hanover. I think, and I don't know if Facebook and Instagram is facing this evening and TikTok is TikToking. But ministers, please to tell them that they are using the bulldozers for the wrong reason. I think if the truck is not coming, they can use the bulldozers to come and do some of the work in Western Hanover. I thank you.
Maria, we have heard their roof, there's a garbage, and it's time for you to speak. And if there are more concerns, Do come and let your voice be heard. Not be afraid. You can come to the Bible. That's a t-shirt.
Amen. This is Chairman, a member of Parliament, I publicly good night. When I come back on water, go out and talk. Right now from December, the tractor come here about and up to now, they don't fix it again. I talked to my comrade chairman about it, same time, it's giving me argument that I get this done. He don't give it to the emergency. When they turn on the water, it coming like a river running on the road. The water commission come out there and then dig up some part of the road. And then let it there, the water is going. And over 10 years now, we can get the water in the pipe. Which I talked to my comment, member of parliament about it, and the chief national chairman, and I would like we to come together and make a resolution to get the water. Because from the government change, that here are not anymore. Cops, legal friendship, were so then, I'm looking forward, and I'm looking for a member of parliament and for something tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, okay. Do we have coming in more? Move to my second. Good evening to all present. I stand on behalf of the committee of Cascade, Hanover, Mr. Hanover. And it is somewhat unfair this in our culture, but I must commend my MP, Andrea Turkey, for a new person in government, in politics. She is a tower to be reckoned with. From the day after, the morning after Melissa, she has been on the ground until now. And she has really rallied with the people of Eastern Hanover. So I want to commend her and say to us in Eastern Hanover, 4 years to be done. So you know what to do. I have some things here. Garbage collection. Mr. Mayor, there is a place in Cascade here, in Patty here. That section has been not having garbage collection. The people has to be finding means and ways of getting. We can't put all the burden on our MP because this has nothing to do with the MP. Even though for the Cascade Center, but where the garbage student is, every time full over, me take one picture say, no, you have. And I can rely on it at least 2 days. The garbage truck is there. But Patty Hill needs to have a garbage collection. So please love it for the people of Patty Hill for Jesus. Another section, I know it is not our MP's rule, but through the parish house, it's a parish house rule. And I pray that Ms. Nita Garvey could speak to the Minister of Local Government on this purpose. The road that leads to the Brownsville Early Primary School and Infant Primary Infant School and the Cascade Clinic is in a deplorable condition. It is the worst road to know that two very important buildings
are on that road. I have to pick up my daughter, who is not she's not as strong as me, who works there. If I don't take her there or the taxi take her there in the morning, she cannot get there because she can't walk. I have to go for her after work. And the little big on my hand is going soon done. Because the road is in a terrible condition. So please, Madam Henry, lobby on behalf of the Cascade, the road to the Cascade Community Center and the Brownsville Primary and Infant School. I assure you that we will continue to work alongside our MPs and we will continue to support and strengthen them. And I put up my hand when we were asked if we get water. But then I smiled and I said to the first two persons beside me, oh, you made it so they come tomorrow. That's why they said water today. Because maybe if it was not bad, we would have had water since yesterday. And I don't know how Andrea will do it, but the road, I know she has been making on her own, but sometimes it's hard. And I want to say thank you for coming and letting us know where we stand. I wouldn't even touch Melissa because I encourage somebody to come with me this evening to hear what is happening. And right now, when rain falls, she can't stay where she is because she's under two tarpaulins. One, I believe that she put another one on it, and it's still leaking. And she has not heard from neither the NIS department nor from the poor people that came. We still have a family of 6 in the mines at Brownsville, especially. So it's not only one section, we still have persons who are still sheltering in the church mines. So if tomorrow morning we are going to get a minister, they will have to come. And that's hard. So we are still depending on your help. Thank you.
Yes. Persons living in the mines. All right, we move to West.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Marcolin and the rest of the platform. My MPs, Mrs. Bennett, and our wonderful mayor. Oh, God, he did a wonderful job. And it's hard, it's very, very hard. But the MP and the government can tell them every day because water is the main issue for us in Hanover, in the Kingsville area. We have to be buying water for $7,000 a ton. And if you have a drum, the truck no more just there because the drum, I don't know the price of the drum, but the tank, and it's very expensive. Sometimes we buy water, we come and buy food and it's hard. And the next problem about the road from Kingsville to Green Island, because this road is where the children used to go to school because parents can't afford to spend them around. And only one taxi we have running there, big up town wherever he is. It's the only taxi that carries the children from Kingsville to Green Island because no other taxi carries them because the road is very bad. And the next thing about the garbage, they can tell us all every day about the garbage as well. We don't know. Everybody knows because they say we are paying money, but they don't look at us. We used to have water in our pipe every single day. And from the previous LP, what was there from there, we don't get any water until this moment coming in. And you have the pipe there. You don't get any water. So from that, we have to be like, we even block the road and same day we block the road. I saw
TV them and the same day we block the road. I don't know if people see before the election. It's very bad that we reach on back water out in the pipe. I don't know. Yes, so they are really supporting us. So we need some clarification on that. And MP again, because myself and Mr. Mayor and the sponsor in the digital, because they're working, but we are really supporting. I thank you.
We have heard fines, water, road. We have heard the processing in the shelter. What a shame. We're gonna take two more and then we're gonna do a response after. Okay.
Good night, everyone. Hi. Hi. So this is a question that as a young person, I'm on social media for a good portion of the time. Seeing this interview with a specific minister saying that the birth rate in Jamaica is low and it needs to be hiking. After the minister, I got a new one. The tragedy that had happened because no one home in no hospital in Lucy was not refitted for certain kind of delivery. Now with the minister saying that birth rate needs to fall, what is what is their plans to fix these infrastructure before persons can consider to because it's a risk to have a child. While the men don't go through that risk, we still have to consider our spouse or baby mother or whichever to go inside the hospital that is not fitted for delivery. The other question is, right? The road infrastructure, buildings in our parish. I'm from Western Hanover. Why is it that we are one of the parishes that pays the most taxes, but we are one of the last parish to get when something needs to be given? The state of the road, I operate taxi, the state of the road is deplorable. And when I say deplorable, I mean deplorable. It can, but you can have a new people today, tomorrow morning, you can hear someone pass because that's how bad the road is. They're operating laws in the country towards PPP, taxi drivers, and commuters. But why is it that they're saying that we must obey all these laws when tomorrow morning you go down the road, you want that tire? How do you uphold the law or follow the law to the T? When you go down the road tomorrow morning, you want the tire, the next day you want that tire, and the next day you want something else. How do we make our money to survive coming after Melissa? Because they're saying that help is coming. Honestly, MP and the council from Western Hanover are trying their best. But their best is only good enough because they can't help everybody. So how do we as a nation plan to go forward after this? Because it's almost 1 year since Melissa and NIS keep telling us because I have the instant where they said that I was in a production area. That was from December. We're now in almost September, and I'm still in the cluster. So they were saying that I would get I would have gotten to already. We're in a hurricane season now. So if we don't try to help ourselves, why is the government collecting so much taxes and so much money from donors and not putting it back out to the people of the country? And the extension of the people of the country towards Western and Eastern Hanover because Hanover seems like it's set apart from Jamaica. It seems.
He was going to take what I take him and then you will after that we do a response.
Good evening, everyone. My common leader, my MP, common people. My question would be direct to my member of parliament
Andrea Perkins, who is the opposition spokesperson and tourism. We all see in the news millions of visitors. It's a beautiful island. I'm a member of the Total license. Days upon days, you have so many cruise ships coming into the port of Montego Bay. Even today, a small business, licensed business operator, like I am, and so many of us, there is nothing we have to show for it. Yet, you have shopper with so many buses. You have the JUTC buses at times going transfer from section of the pier to the section of the pier. Days upon days. And Mr. Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, can be bold and pretending that everyone in Jamaica in tourism are benefiting from it. I myself, with my honor, absolutely nothing. You have Uber coming. How I want to know how Uber come into tourism. For example, if you're going to go from Nickel to Montego Bay, you're looking at a fare of $120 in the US. With our Uber, you're looking at $50, $60. Uber, right across. Sure. We have to go through insurance. We have to go through license, TPD, all of those necessary requirements to be on the road to offer transportation service to more guests. And I am putting this question direct to my member of parliament, who is my opposition spokesperson, and tourism to see what's best can do for us in the transport sector. Because we're not seeing nothing, absolutely nothing. Those in tourism, I'm going to close short. For me, I would rather travel 3 trips from MBJ to OTRS than to make 1 trip to Nickel, because it's fast. From Cubridge, it takes me 2 hours and 45 minutes just to reach at the roundabout at the I'm going now to the hospital. That is distance. That's the time it takes you from there. You have guests, lasting time, energy, so much. We in Hanover need. Hanover has so much resource in tourism sector. If Hanover, as I said to one of my co-workers today, if Hanover was like a state, what we collect our own tax, and we hold the responsibility for all our own tax, this parish would be the best in this country. I do thank you.
One final liberty, a response.
Good night, everyone. I'm going to ask this question. And, after I ask this question, I'm going to say why I asked. I'm directing this question to the Minister of Health. Sir, what are you doing? Are you going into the hospital to see what is happening in the hospital? Are you visiting the hospitals? Are the nurses and doctors having proper cleaning or sanitizing equipment for the patient in the hospital. The reason why I ask this question, I have a young lady close to my community that gave birth last month. She gave birth to cesarean, right? She spent a couple days in the hospital. When they released her, she came home and spent 2 days at home. And she had to be rushed back to the hospital. Why? Her womb was decayed. And she went back in, she spent like 4 days. And she keep on going back and forth from regional back home. And it's in my community, retreat. She been taking taxi every day to go up and dress because they say they cannot send her down to Lucy because it's not Lucy problem. They have to be dressed in that foot. And when I asked her, there was three other young ladies that have the same problem, and they asked the doctor, and the doctor said it's caused by not having proper sanity in the theater. So they don't have the sanitation to sanitize the tool that they're using in the hospital. I lost a 22-year-old, 24-year-old. She had a baby last November, and the same thing happened to her. And she died last month. She died with her 7-month-old baby. That's the same thing. And it's been going on from last year, and there is nothing been done to this. So I'm asking the Minister of Health, what are you doing, sir? You need to visit the hospital and make sure they have proper sanitation in the theater for the young mothers. Thank you.
This is quite gut-wrenching. We have heard the concerns, the situation with the hospitals. The speaker before spoke about what happened, young people wanted to give birth, but there's not enough equipment. We heard about the road conditions. We heard about the water problems. We heard about the garbage. We heard about the persons in the tourism industry, who takes 2.5 hours from Q to get just into Lucy. And we simply can say, what a sad situation. What a shame. What a shame. So now we're going to have some response. I'm going to start first. I'm going to ask MP Perkins just to quickly address the situation with the tourism, the situation with that young man, and to just speak to us about what are the plans or where do we go from here?
Well, the plans depends on how open Minister Bartlett is to the suggestions and recommendations that I made in my presentation, my sectorial lead. I recommend that if you work in hospitality, go to YouTube, take a watch or a listen. I want to say that tourism has taken good care of me. I remember working in hospitality from in my early 20s. I also lobbied for my staff in the vacation club business to be paid in US dollars. It is how the government negotiates for Jamaicans when investors are coming in. We welcome them. We welcome the big investors. We welcome the brand name hotels. We welcome, even if you're a attraction and you're an owner from a different country, we welcome you. But it is what is presented to those investors. That is where the issue is, that we're not negotiating well for our own people. And I, as the Junta driver spoke,
I'm sitting there shaking my head because he told no lies. I know that due to drivers, they have to pay fees, a number of fees. So unlike a taxi driver, if you're a road taxi driver, you know you have different fees that you have to pay. But when you branch off into tourism, about 3 to 4 fees are added. What the issue is that the hotels are allowing persons from outside to go into their hotel, even though these drivers are paying for parking. That is oppression. So I can't roll out the plan because I'm not in government, but I can definitely make recommendations. I can make recommendations for government to block Uber from taking tourists from our hotels. I am appealing to the minister to once and for all shift, just take a shift from talking and act when it comes on to the locals that are involved in tourism. It is not just Juta. Let me just take 1 minute to elaborate. It is our local tour operators. It is our local attractions. To date, none of our markets, our craft markets in, well, I can speak of St. James, they have not been rehabilitated. I spoke to the vendors myself, and they have received nothing. Hospitality workers are also employed. And let me just go back to the Juta thing because Francis Tunnell believed that Jamaicans should be owners, and he was the one who introduced Jacob and Juta. So I want you to just, you know, look at us, look at the People's National Party and the things that we've introduced and understand that we always have the people at heart. I want to also bring your attention to the contract workers in hospitality. They're suffering. They're suffering because unlike a staff that can take their child to the doctor and get an ease on the pocket because they have insurance, contract workers do not benefit. They don't benefit. So there are some real crises within hospitality while we sit and we watch the fancy ads that are repeatedly showing the same places that are owned by wealthier people. I want to also educate you and let you know that when Portia Simpson Miller opened an all-inclusive hotel in St. Anne, she did not open that hotel with one contract worker. I can tell you that I know of hotels that open in less than 5 years in this country that has over 90% of contract workers. We must stand up against it. So my plans is very simple. Lobby with me. Help me to lift my voice and lift your voice against it. Because it is just not fair. And I am paying attention now to the new properties that will be open. I guarantee you that I will be outside the gates of those hotels talking to the staff, the new hirees, when they have the job fairs, and I will be finding out who is hired on contract and who is hired on staff. Hospitality, the money is not trickling down anymore to the locals. So, Mr. Junta Driver, my brethren, I see you, I feel your pain, but until government decide and not just talk and trick the people of Jamaica that they're focusing on locals, until the government stand up and stop outsiders from coming into the hotels, nothing can be done. Help me to help you. Talk about it. Go online, go on social media, talk about it whenever you get the opportunity. But tourism is not what it used to be. It is not what it used to be under the governance of the People's National Party.
Thank you, MP Perkins.
There are some more concerns, and I don't know who would like to respond, Martin. All right. Are there anybody, is there anybody else who would like to say other things before we have the part of the response? Here, boys, you know. And we have to get to the point that when we get ready to speak. So, anybody else? No? No? We have covered all the issues? We have covered all the issues? All right. So, we're going to ask Martha Leader to speak.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. I want to thank everybody who came up and shared their burning issues with us. You know, so in fact, it was interesting because one of the questions that was asked was really answered by somebody else who came up. So a young man asked, how is it that they're saying that the birth rate is falling? And what is there to encourage people to have more children, essentially? Yeah. And another lady came up and said, these are the risks that women are facing in the health system when it comes to having children. Unhygienic conditions resulting in detrimental situations after cesarean sections and so on. So the point really is, if the health system doesn't inspire confidence amongst the people that they are going to be well looked after, if the living conditions and the economy don't support people getting ahead in life, and life is a daily struggle for survival, what is the incentive to have a whole bag of children in the modern era? And that is why the birth rate is, and by the way, it's not just Jamaica, it's an international phenomenon. And the birth rate is falling in many countries, not all, but many. And I would say that when people feel comfortable and are confident that the society provides a kind of health services, education services, and employment opportunities and opportunities to go ahead, to move ahead in life, and they feel that they can comfortably maintain a bigger family, then they may make that choice. But if that is not the situation that they're going to face, it's hard to expect them to make irrational choices in their own lives. And I think that's a reasonable answer to that question. We have heard the cry about water. We have heard the cry about garbage collection. We've heard the cry about the road conditions. And I must tell you, noble citizens of Hanover, you are not alone in some of these issues. Right across Jamaica, deplorable roads are a feature. We have a government which eliminated the road maintenance fund, which have been established under the People's National Party to receive dedicated sources of income for road maintenance. That was abandoned. So we've had a decade of virtually no road maintenance, especially on roads which are not off the beaten track, not the main roads around the coast or in the big towns. Even though the roads in the big towns can be bad too. But in the rural communities and in the schemes where people live, we have a deplorable situation. It's a result of bad policy under this government. Garbage collection. I strongly believe that if we're going to have a robust system of local governance, which is a thing that the People's National Party believes in, we must resource local government so that it can deliver the services that people need in their communities. It can't be a situation of patronage where you have an all-powerful minister who uses that power to get whatever outcomes they may see as being to the advantage of the government of the day. And if you speak too assertively and stand up, you might be victimized and so on. That is a bad system. Our belief is that we must push resources to the local authorities and hold them accountable for how those resources are used. and ensure that they are consulting with the people so that the people's priorities become their priorities and all the monies and resources are used. And if we had a strong system of local government, the country would be in a much better condition. We wouldn't have this situation where people are living in deplorable conditions because the centralized services are not delivering for the parts of the country which are not in their view. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a wonderful experience being here with you and sharing and hearing your concerns and hearing my lovely colleagues, these powerful women who have stepped forward in our party to represent people. And of course, our noble mayor, as well as the platform. Big up yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will hand back to our moderator, our able moderator, so that she can bring the formal proceedings to a close in whatever way she sees fit. But I just want to personally thank you for having come out and having shared it. And I hope you feel it has been a worthwhile process. God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I said when before. There's so much that we have heard, so much that we know, so much questions answered. Well, let me tell you before you leave me, and I'm happy that we're still sitting here. And it's a sign that we are committed to the cause. You see, as we bring this conversation to a close, let everyone remember that a town hall meeting is not meaningful if the conversation continues. If the conversation doesn't continue after we leave the school, would have been a waste of time. It's there for me that we go out into our communities and that we continue the conversation with our neighbors, with those who are out here in the taxis, that they understand too where we are coming from. We have listened, we have shared experiences, we have raised concerns, we have asked questions, and we have spoken about the realities facing our people after Hurricane Melissa and after. But now comes the important question. The important part, my brothers and sisters, is a time, as the psalm says, action, not a background. Let us not allow the voices that we hear today to disappear when these microphones are turned on. Let us take what we have heard and turn it into planned programs and measure results. Let us move to our groups and to our clusters and start to take action. We want to say to our leaders, continue to listen, continue to engage, continue to advocate for us. And to our communities and to our people, stay organized, stay informed, and continue to speak up because your voice matters, your experience matters, and your community matters. So what is the mandate, ladies and gentlemen? That when we leave here today, we get into the nook and crannies, that you open your ears and listen to me. Just like when Sunshine called the people, that when it's time for action, you will not sit down. You know, there's a song that says, saddle me round, would make me ride, God's town in a fire. It was not just a song, it was a call to say, saddle up, the place is on fire, it's time for movement. It's in the same voice today. Saddle up, my people, get ready. So when it is action, it will be time to action. I don't know what it is, but it's time for us, and it's a time for action. It has been a good evening. I want to ask us to stand up as a commitment and as a pledge that I am ready for action. And we're going to sing a song that as we move forward, that we will have together. Because unless we move forward with the Savior, we will go nowhere. And so I'm going to ask you to hold hands as we sing. I must have the Savior with me, for I dare not walk alone. I must feel his presence near me and his arms around me, Lord. Let us sing. Let's hold somebody hand. I just know a call for action. I must have for let's keep the hands falling. Let there be no gaps in this circle. I must feel his presence. My soul. The peace of the Lord be with you. Get home safely. Keep talking. Keep the conversation. God bless you. Walk good. And may good spirits follow you always.
Yeah, me there.
One order.
All the time.
One order.
Yeah.
No, that's correct.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yo,
I may I say, but
Thank you. I'm telling you.
afterwards.
Bye bye.
And I'm missing. Yeah, then can live can. All right, so this has been a wonderful meeting of Mark Golden and the CNP family. So see you next time again, guys. Yeah, man. And we are out. Fear and